Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss, Paulie Howard with you live downtown Vegas. Circa Resort and Casino is a spot. Thanks for checking in today, whether you're watching on YouTube TV, watching or listening on the VSiN Watch app, or certainly on SiriusXM Channel 158. Big program lined up. Nick Whalen from Prop Points here on VSiN coming up in 30 minutes. Some fantasy angles with him, players he likes, players he doesn't. Jeff Seeley on the BMW. Mike Buckmiller in studio later on. Former Survivor winner and Paul Stone. His best bets on Notre Dame and also the MAC. Paulie, we have to begin in Major League Baseball and this incredible story with the Milwaukee Brewers after they won their 10th consecutive game again last night. That's their second winning streak of at least 10 games this year. They're only the 10th team since the league expanded in 1969 to do that in a single season. For context, compare them for a second to the Colorado Rockies. Last night, losers again. So that's 8 straight losses right now for the Rockies. This is their 5th losing streak of at least 8+ games this year. 8 games or more.
Yes.
That's nuts, man.
Yeah, with an unbelievable run differential to boot. So, as I said yesterday, impervious to bad spots.
Evidently.
And no problem again. So, it's 24-5 run, what they're doing. Good size favorite to win the division. And the Pirates, 17-40 on the road. Peralta, 8-1, last 11 with an ERA of 3 and change. Right back with them. I don't care that it's Skeens. Right? I still, because Milwaukee did to them the last time they faced him as well. So it's just incredible team. Everything's going right for them. Timely hitting, great pitching, great story. Hope to get the Phenom back as well. And you just got to fade the Pirates with that horrible road record.
Yeah, the Brewers are also 40-20 at home on the year, which is outstanding. Last time out for Skeens, it was against the Reds. 6 innings, no earned, 8 Ks. He was awesome. Now, to your point, this is the 3rd time that he'll face Milwaukee this year. If you go back, the first time that he pitched against them was on May 25th. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned, 8 Ks. He was awesome. Fast forward exactly 1 month to June 25th. 4 innings, 4 hits, 4 earned, 4 Ks. That was it. They rocked him. They got to him. He left the game early. So, and you know, even if we get the good Skeens tonight, the problem with him and, you know, the biggest talking point, one of them anyway, in all of Major League Baseball was the lack of run support. And we can't, you know, forget here that Freddie Peralta is going for the Brewers. I personally don't trust him overall, like long-term, but Peralta is having a damn good season. He has 13 wins. Last time out against the Braves, 5 innings, a bunch of strikeouts. They won that game. So it is a very small number here. It's just, what do you think here? Does Skeens go 7 strong tonight and shut him down completely and they get out of there with a 2-1 win?
No, you're right about the run support, and that's the other thing. I mean, to go last 7 starts, 5 scoreless, but you're 3-1 with a 1-4-2. That number one, they could touch him up. Number two, will they get enough runs for him? But that's quite the conundrum tonight with that line. I feel the same way about the Giant game too, where isn't that a fascinating handicap? It's Robbie Ray at home against Nasty Nestor, and he's only but they've lost 11 of their last 12 at home, and they're a dead team.
Sure.
But it's, just like we said all last week, I still got to take the Brewers at these prices. And number one ROI, not even close. Up 23 units and change. Toronto number 2, 15 units and change. So they're lapping the field there.
Yeah. Remarkable story again. So what about the total now in this game? Because it did open up. I think some spots opened up 7.5 last night. Long gone, obviously. It's down to 6.5 now. And you don't see a first 5 total of around 3 very often. But that's what we're looking at. I kind of want to make the angle for a 0-0 score after 3 innings to bet that under as well at a plus price. But man, first 5 under 3, that's such a small number that you can get an error, a blooper drops, and boom, there's a 3-run shot in the second inning. Then you're up against it.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, he was so bad last time out against them and had nothing. So there's different ways to attack that. But the run that they're on, I don't see how you can make the case for Pittsburgh.
So what do you make of the Cubs-Blue Jays game then tonight? Because Ben Brown is going, this is a conflict for me. Because Ballpark Pal at vsin.com, the K projection, the number one guy, the value guy for an over today is Ben Brown with the K's. However, keep this in mind. Opposing starters, Toronto's now finally back at home. Opposing starters are on a 25-3-1 underrun against the Blue Jays when they're in Toronto.
Off the board, my friend. I think it's Assad now.
I saw that he got called up. So they replaced Brown with him.
It's
then?
off the board here, and I got Assad at DK. I got Barrios $1.25.
Well, here it's circa down $1.20 on the screen.
I know, but the board's got it.
Oh, does it? Okay, so the board's
got
it
off the
live.
board.
Okay.
The board's got it off the board. So we got a pitching change in this one.
Doesn't that make you like Barrios even maybe a little bit more here in the Blue Jays at home?
Yeah, 36-27 against teams with a winning record as well. And as I talked about, number 2 in ROI. Big series. Don't like how the Cubs are playing right now. And Toronto got a break last night. I mean, that was crazy. That you get 6 runs and Crochet can't win. But Toronto now $3 at DraftKings to win the division. Big series, but the way they are so good at home, what they've done. And a 66-48-5 overrun and for the season. Tops in baseball. 38-19 at home. I'm with you on the Blue Jays.
Mm-hmm. I think it's kind of a cheap number tonight.
Yeah.
So you're right. They got a big break last night. Crochet goes, only strikes out 5. He's staked to a 2-0 lead right away. Gets roughed up. Down 7-2. They come back 7-6, but they can't win the game. They pick it right back up tonight. May takes on Arrighetti. May is a guy that you certainly don't trust. You pointed that out many times. ERA, not great at all this year. Last time out, 6-6, 6 hits, 3 earned runs. Arrighetti came back from an injury. ERA on the year, horrible. Last time out, 3 2/3, 5 earned runs, 11 hits allowed. Are we going to get runs here in this game tonight?
I would think so. Yes, yes. I've been cold in baseball, but from a side standpoint, you had everything in your favor last night. A good Boston team with a hot pitcher who had won 9 consecutive decisions with a Malinsky special against the Astros, and he can't hold them down. And we lose that one, but I would think right back with runs in this one. In this big series with Boston and Houston, but no opinion on the side.
All these games, man, these series and how they're like intertwined are so big and they were like that over the weekend as well. Like the Blue Jays not playing yesterday and the Red Sox losing. Okay, the Red Sox lost that game to Houston. Imagine if Houston doesn't win it. What are they tied now with the Mariners entering today's action?
Yes.
So then you have Kirby going tonight on the road against Baltimore, and he's a decent favorite of around $1.50, maybe a little bit more. And Kirby's been coming on. Last time out, 6 innings, 2 earned, 9 Ks. Been good now for a good solid month at least for George Kirby. And they're getting Dean Kramer in the game tonight.
Yeah, I think they should win too. I mean, it's a chalk fest here, but they've won 7 in a row. The offense has been great. 15 bombs. All these trades at the deadline worked out. How about some props for you here? Naylor, 667 career against Kramer. Rodriguez, 625. On the flip side, Henderson's 462 against Kirby. But the other one is, can the big dumper keep this going as well and keep hitting home runs? And I think it's the records, is it 42 by Javi Lopez when you talk about how many home runs you hit when you actually play the position? But he's got that, he's chasing that record too, but hard to go against the Mariners with the way they're playing and the way this offense has been humming.
Well, now on the screen it says $1.65 here. So that's first 5 actually. So juiced up even more for that. And then we can get into the National League. You quickly brought up the Padres-Giants earlier. If they get a good performance from Cortez tonight, what is this? Did the Angels have the Dodgers number?
Is this the silliest thing you've seen?
Yamamoto had nothing last night.
He's been unbelievable all year on the road with 12 starts. Soriano, putrid at home.
Yeah.
Of course they get blown out, and Yamamoto has nothing. Yep. So they've now lost 5 in a row to him. They killed him. Look at the run differential. It's 40-20. So, I mean, it was a Fugazi score. Ohtani goes deep late.
Agreed.
And Muncy goes deep late.
Yeah.
They play San Diego 6 times in the next 10 days. If the Padres win tonight and the Dodgers lose, for the first time since 2010, this deep in the season, the Padres are in first place. They haven't won a division since 2006. At one sportsbook Friday, the Dodgers were 1,100 to win the division.
Think about that for a second.
Yes. It's still 350. They have a 1-game lead. You can't trust a lot of their starters.
I think,
What's
Paul,
happened?
last night when the games were being played and the Padres took a 4-1 lead, Dodgers are getting spanked. Padres were still almost 4-1 to win at some books.
I don't get it. I know.
And neither do
They're
I.
Great. Pitching's been great. See if they can keep it going. And that's, again, what you face with the Giants. Look at this price. They're begging you to bet Robbie Ray, but they've lost 11 of their last 12 at home. And then Merrill and company touched up Webb as well. But this stretch we talked about, 13 in a row. Giants, Dodgers, so far so good with the win to start. But the Dodgers getting blown out. I mean, you're right. Are they going to lose 6 in a row to the Angels here? I mean, this is crazy.
Oh, and one more game here. This is your baby.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah. $1.10 on the run line. It's staring you right in the face. There's no need to handicap Yankees run line. So the Yankees have beat the Twins 8 in a row. Going back, it's 124-44 straight up. 16-2 against them in the playoffs. They've eliminated them 6 times. And it's Rodon going. So I would expect home run derby again. It was supposed to be a bullpen game for the Twins, but it's total ownage here. Total ownage.
It is.
And if Rodon doesn't give up the long ball, the Yankees should take him out and make it 9 in a row.
It was squeaky bum time for like a minute last night when it got to 3-2.
3-2 in the 7th.
Yeah, and the Twins had some chances maybe. But after that, it was just like, okay, that was fun while it lasted.
Yeah.
And cash those tickets on Yankees backers again last night.
8 in a row.
Crazy, man.
124-44. It is. Biggest part of the season, couple weeks away. Week 0, college football. Get our college football NFL guides. The 1-2 punch for smart betting. Team previews, power ratings, betting systems, and best bets. That's just the start. And you get the morning email from Bill 80, every best bet, every host, every guest. The betting splits, the market insights, the systems from Mackinnon, the dog videos. Get the tools and the data and the prop analyzer. $9.99. Sign up today or 50% off with the Pro Annuals plan. VSiN.com/subscribe.
We need to talk about a team with high expectations yet again this year, a team that has endured several injuries over recent years and are going through it again already in the preseason.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We'll talk more season-long stuff here with individual players in the National Football League as Nick Whalen joins the program, one of the hosts on Prop Points here on VSiN. You can catch it every single day at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. out here on the West Coast. He does it with Jeff Erickson every single day, and he's on the Progressive Guest Line. Nick, thanks for the time today. How are you?
Doing well, guys. Doing well. Appreciate the invite to the show and looking forward to talking some football.
You bet. It's a pleasure talking to you today. Let's begin with what we were just talking about in the previous segment, and that is the San Francisco 49ers. As we pointed out, a lot of people love this team this year because they have the easiest SOS in all of football. They think they're going to win 10, 11, 12 games by default. I'm starting to get a little bit concerned about the weapons on offense. I think you have to be. We documented this in the previous segment where they're at right now. Is there a takeaway that you have from this? Mine is I couldn't be any higher on Ricky Pearsall if I tried. What is yours?
I'm starting to feel the same way, to be honest. That was one of the biggest question marks for this team. One of the biggest question marks for fantasy football coming into this season was, okay, if we have these high expectations for the 49ers, we have these high expectations for Brock Purdy, who is going to be the guy in that receiver room? And look, I love Ricky Pearsall, but more than anything, it just feels like it's going to be him by default, right? Brandon Ayuk, we get news earlier today that he's not going to be back until probably week 6 at the earliest. I mean, that's mid-October, guys. And who knows what could happen between now and then. I mean, there was a time when Ayuk, Jawan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall were all being drafted in fantasy leagues right around the same pick. Ayuk is to the point where, he's maybe a late round dart. You put him in an IR spot and hope you get something from him later in the year. But even if he's back in week 6, what kind of ramp up are we looking at? He's still coming off of, a really serious knee injury. He's somebody I'm just kind of setting aside for now. Jawan Jennings, he wanted a trade. He wanted a new contract. I don't think he's going to get either of those things. He's also dealing with a calf injury right now. And you get beyond that 3, then there's Demarcus Robinson, who might be facing a suspension for an offseason DUI. So I think by default, Ricky Pearsall really looks like he's going to be the guy, at least to begin the season for the 49ers. And he's going to have, a month and a half until Brandon Ayuk is back to really assert himself as the number 1 target for Brock Purdy. It's not an airtight case because Ricky Pearsall was pretty inconsistent, even with Brock Purdy for much of last season. Had the 2 big games in week 17 and 18. One of those did come without Brock Purdy, but there's a reason they burned a first-round pick on Ricky Pearsall a year ago. I think they drafted him really to be the replacement for Deebo Samuel. So we need to keep in mind Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, as long as they're healthy, they're still probably the 1 and 2 overall in this offense, but things are really, really opening up for Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah, I noticed at Bet365, not here in Nevada, but I confirmed that during the break, they're offering 750 plus receiving yards on Pearsall, minus 140. Looks pretty tantalizing. How high are you on Drake London this year in Atlanta?
I'm really high on Drake London. You know, this is another team that doesn't have a whole lot of options outside of Drake London. And of course, if you're a believer in Drake London, whether you're looking at the season-long player prop market, you're looking at that win total for Atlanta, or you're targeting him in fantasy, it requires you to be a believer in Michael Penix, which I am. You know, I really, really liked what I saw from Michael Penix at the end of last season. And yeah, it was a small sample size, but I think we need to keep in mind the type of production that Drake London put up while basically being handicapped in his own offense by Kirk Cousins, right? I mean, Cousins for a good chunk of the season, I thought was a glaring minus. You know, he couldn't throw the ball down the field. There was no arm strength left. And Drake London, you know, still finished as one of the top receivers in all of fantasy football. And we really saw him unlocked at the end of the season with a real quarterback, with a real arm in Michael Penix. I mean, those last 3 games of the year with Michael Penix, 8 targets, 13 targets, 18 targets for Drake London. Now, is he going to see 18 targets on a weekly basis, guys? No, absolutely not. Of course, that's unrealistic, but I still think there's a level up for Drake London to go. Again, I think he was kind of held back for a lot of last season by Cousins. And, you know, the number 2 receiver for Atlanta right now, Darnell Mooney, he's banged up. We don't know if he's going to be out there to begin the year. They're telling us that Kyle Pitts is going to have a resurgent season. I will believe that when I see it. I think this is clearly an offense that's running through Drake London and Bijan Robinson.
What do you do with Tyreek Hill? They're saying they're not going to trade him, but the 49ers and Steelers, according to reports, have interest. Tua had the comment about you just can't say something like that at the end where he wanted out and you come back and everything's okay. Where do you think he's going in fantasy, and what happens to Miami if they trade him?
It's one of the biggest questions of the season, guys. And I am yet to hear an answer where I'm like, yes, that's correct. That's the right way to handle this. I mean, Tyreek Hill, for all the upside that he has, you know, a guy who was a bona fide top 5, top 3 fantasy receiver just a couple of years ago, he's going in the middle of round 3 right now, often even a little bit later than that. So we're talking the same range to give you some context as guys like T. Higgins, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Devontae Adams, Mike Evans. So really what's happening is that people are basically splitting the difference and saying, all right, I acknowledge the upside. If this breaks right, you know, in the late 3rd round, I might be getting the 5th or 6th best receiver in fantasy. But I think there's also an equal acknowledgement that this could go horribly wrong, right? I mean, Tyreek Hill could get injured. Tyreek Hill could have yet another off-field run-in. Tyreek Hill could demand a trade. And what really worries me about the Miami Dolphins, whether you're talking Hill or Jalen Waddle, and even applies to Devon Achane to some degree, is you almost have double injury risk because you have the most injury-prone quarterback in the NFL piloting this team. So you're worried about the player himself getting hurt. You're also worried about Tua getting hurt on a week-to-week basis. The more I think about the Dolphins, guys, the less invested I want to be in this team.
Good answer.
Yeah. Let's follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Nick Whalen, co-host of Prop Points every single day at 2 o'clock Eastern, right here on VSiN with Jeff Erickson, and he's on the Progressive Guest Line. For many years playing fantasy football, going back, several years now, it would always drive me nuts, and it was inevitable that somebody would take a Peyton Manning, a Tom Brady, a Dante Culpepper, an Aaron Rodgers, like right away in the first round. I'm like, oh, it's such a dumb move. Why would you do that? But it would come out, it would help me in return because their teams would eventually stink because they loaded up on quarterback right away. Do you still believe in taking quarterbacks late? Like you hold your breath as long as you possibly can before you dive in?
In general, yes. Yes, there are specific circumstances where I would take a Lamar Jackson or a Josh Allen or a Jalen Hurts or a Jaden Daniels. But I think the big difference between those quarterbacks I just mentioned and some of the classic examples that you mentioned is they run, right? You weren't getting any rushing production out of Aaron Rodgers or Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. So I think the fantasy point ceiling has been raised by these quarterbacks who give you so much rushing production. But I don't want to touch a non-running quarterback early in a draft. And more often than not, guys, I really am waiting. The tier that I really tend to avoid is, that secondary group of quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, Bo Nix. These are guys who go in that round, sometimes 4, 5, 6 range. There's just way too much value on the board at running back, at receiver. That's where you could find a really good tight end like George Kittle. And to me, you look at the per game fantasy production, guys like Lamar and Josh Allen, if you're getting them in round 3, maybe late round 2, yeah, they can be worth it because they are just that good on a week-to-week basis. But guys, the difference between, a Patrick Mahomes, unless he's playing at a 2022 Patrick Mahomes level, the difference between him and a Jared Goff or a Dak Prescott or a Brock Purdy is a lot smaller in fantasy than it is in real life. And oftentimes you'll see a 40, 50, 60 pick difference between quarterbacks like that. And if you wait long enough on quarterback, you can feel really good about the rest of your roster. And you could often just take two quarterbacks back to back. We're talking the 10th, 11th round. You could end up with someone like Justin Fields, who I think has a ton of upside as a runner this year. You could pair him with a Jordan Love, with a CJ Stroud, with a Justin Herbert. That tends to be my favorite strategy.
Very good. Penix also on that list, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Love Michael Penix. The thing with Penix is you don't even have to pay that kind of price, right? I mean, he's going 40, 45 picks after that group of quarterbacks that I mentioned. I'm looking at some ADP right now. He's going pick 165 on average, quarterback 22, so he's the second or third to last quarterback drafted in a lot of leagues.
Yeah. I like this, by the way, on your list, a couple of running backs that you like, Bijan, Pacheco, but also I'm super high this year on Chase Brown and also Jordan Mason.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the case for Bijan Robinson is pretty clear, right? He's an elite running back. I love that Atlanta team. I think he hasn't yet had his best season. And part of it is I have a hard time reinvesting in Saquon Barkley at the top of a draft. There's, as you guys know, there's just very little history of a player running for 2,000 yards and then having another elite season right after that. But yeah, as you get deeper into the draft, I think Isaiah Pacheco to me is still one of the best values at running back. The clear number one in Kansas City. There's just nobody else remotely appealing in that backfield. And I would not be surprised, guys, if by week 5, week 6, Jordan Mason feels like the alpha in Minnesota.
Yeah, let's hope. You can follow Nick on X. He is at WHA, the number 1 EN, and he hosts Prop Points every single day with Jeff Erickson at 2 o'clock Eastern, 11 a.m. out here on the West Coast. Does a great job with it as well. Nick, thanks for the time today. That was great.
Anytime, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job. NFL season almost here. VSiN on the clock tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern. 10 of your favorite hosts go head-to-head in the 2025 VSiN Pro Football Futures Draft, trying to lock in the best season-long NFL props before the odds shift. Catch all the action live. VSiN tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern. Rapid fire.
Do you know what you're going to do? Do you know what your strategy is yet tomorrow?
No, I get the last pick.
It's always fun to go back-to-back, though.
Yeah.
And a little belly-to-belly action.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, the 49ers, since this has changed things.
Now, here's the thing.
So the Stafford stuff, too.
Like, once one team is off the board, that's it. So if somebody wants to go Saints under 5.5, nobody can take their alt under.
I like the rules, too. Got to be 2 of this, 2 of that, 2 of this, 2 of that.
Yep.
Good.
Win some, lose some. Coming up next. And it's Top 5 Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
Best jerseys in sports through the years. Next on VSiN.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Good to have you on board. We're live in Vegas. Circa Resort and Casino is the spot in this hour. 30 minutes from right now, former Circa Survivor winner Mike Buckmiller is going to join us in studio. He is awesome with this contest. He is on the quest for $14.2 million, and they showcased his man cave the other night. And It was incredible. Best you've ever seen?
Yes. All the way up. That was what a treat to watch it every Sunday. Be there.
That's bottom of the hour right now. We get best bets on the BMW Championship this week as Jeff Seeley joins the program on X at Cutmaker Jeff. The podcast is coming out tomorrow as well. Jeff, good afternoon. Good to talk to you again, pal. Well, your model or models last week said that Scotty was easily the best golfer in the tournament and should win it. Do you think he does, even though he didn't have his caddy Ted Scott down the stretch?
Mitch, I tell you, I think that had a honestly a bigger impact than I think anybody thought, right? And he doesn't have him again this week. And so I think that there's something to that, and it's not nothing. I can say that. And when you watch it, you see Scotty like walking off his own yardages, almost just kind of like just dismissing this guy a little bit, like, okay, yeah, I got this. And down the stretch, he wasn't perfect. He wasn't normal Scotty. Now mind you, Rose played great. Obviously, he caught fire there at the end. J.J. Spaun stayed in the hunt. But the one thing you knew that was going to happen was Tommy Fleetwood would choke. And when his putter started to heat up there a little bit, up until 15, you're like, maybe he's going to do it. And then when he just yanks it on 16, you're like, there's the Tommy Fleetwood we all know and love. So, yeah, it was fun. It was great TV. The playoff was a lot of fun to watch. And lab putters are flying off the shelves thanks to J.J. Spaun and making those 40-footers, 50-footers. And he's certainly made a name for himself at that club, that's for sure.
I tell you what, the year that guy's having, I mean, I think people are going to have to reevaluate rankings and how they look at him in terms of power ratings overall when it comes to matchups and maybe winning, tournaments beginning next year. Am I wrong with that?
Oh, no. You think about this. He was in a playoff in the Masters. He lost, the playoff in the Players, lost to Rory in a playoff there, obviously wins the U.S. Open. He lost in 2 playoffs. He could have 3 wins this year and be like the second winningest player this year. Yet what's funny, he's still only the 14th ranked player in the world. How is he still behind Corey Connors? When was the last time Corey Connors won anything? Yet J.J. Spaun is still ranked behind Corey Connors. That's something's wrong there. But he's a great story. Obviously pretty likable. And again, that his unique putter I don't know if you guys heard this lab putter, the company that his putter is just sold for $200 million for a freaking putter company.
Oh my God.
It is $200 million for a putter company, and J.J. Spawn's success was no small part of it. Both my girls now have lab putters. Like, it is the hot thing in golf, and you're seeing more and more tours playing because they're just you get the ball online as long as you have the right line and the right speed, the putt's going in. You saw J.J. Spaun do it on Sunday.
Amazing. Any idea how big of a piece he got from that?
Oh, I don't even know if he had any equity, to be honest with you. I just know he used the club. Hopefully he did, because certainly his win at the U.S. Open when he made that 60-footer and a few others were just a huge advertisement for lab putters. And then, it's not an accident that a few months later they sell for $200 million.
No kidding. Okay, so what do you want to do this week at the top of the odds board here for the BMW? Scotty's back in it. He's plus 230. This is at DraftKings. Rory's in it this week. He's at 8-1. Last week you did the winner without Scotty. What's your approach this week?
Yeah. One of the things we mentioned, Mitch, last week, right, was the Scotty top 10 parlayed with something else. I'm going to do that this week. I'm going to parlay that with a few tennis bets that I like, and get it maybe two big tennis favorites and get it to around even money. I think Scotty will be in the top 10 again, so I'm certainly going to bet that, caddy or no. But another week where I really am looking at the winner without Marcus, because it's winner without Rory and Scotty. So it makes it that much easier. And when you start looking at the prices, there's a drop off in price, but certainly getting rid of Rory and Scotty at a course that's a really good fit for both of them makes a ton of sense.
Walk us through some other guys that you like as well, please.
Sure. So again, after gaining 17 total strokes between the Open and the Scottish, we got Xander Schauffele at 12-1, the winner without. Looked pretty average last week, gained only 2.5 total strokes, not doing anything great. I think that actually helps our price a fair amount. With no Scotty, no Rory, 12-1 on Xander's very interesting. In a tournament where you have to bomb it, third in the field in driving distance, 23rd in birdies or better gain, and no cut field, you always like Xander. I think it's a great price to get him at a bounce back from the St. Jude. And we're going to go back to the well with my favorite player on tour, Ludwig Oberg, 16-1 this week in the winner without. For whatever reason, his price never elevates as much as I really want it to, despite the fact that he hasn't won since February. He does have 2 top 10s since the Masters, and and those 2 top 10s have come in the last 3 weeks. So he's rounding into some sneaky good form, been gaining all across the board with the exception of his substandard short game, which I'm not super worried about this week. So we're getting a guy who's gained 20 strokes total over the last 3 events and arguably the most raw talent on tour. I'm going to take Oberg at 16-1. And then another guy, guys, Chris Gotterup. We know he's been super hot here lately. 25-1, and the winner without Marcus comes in third in my first grade model behind only Rory and Scotty, and in top 10 in all 5 models that I ran this week. So he's 7th in the field in birdies gained, 2nd in driving distance, and inside the top 20 with his iron. So very poor showing last week as his irons really let him down. But the guy's been running so hot, and this course sets up so well for him to be down for too long. So again, after 3 straight weeks of a win and 2 top 10s, he's due for some fall off, but I think he'll bounce back in a week that sets up for him really, really well. like Goddard up a lot. I'm going to bet him top 10 as well.
Well, Mitch can correct me if I'm wrong. You've been coming on the show a long time. I don't know if you've ever given out Ricky Fowler. Is this a first?
I don't think I have. I don't think I have, Paul. You're exactly right. And I don't think I've ever given him out. And he's been on a really sneaky heater. 4 top 20s and 2 more top 10s in his last 11 events. So he's finishing top 20 over 50% of the time. He's plus 100 top 20 this week, which I like a lot. We know that you have to make birdies and lots of them to win this event. Fowler comes in ranking 3rd in birdies or better and 10th in proximity from over 200 yards over the last 12 rounds. Number 4 in my first grade model. So Ricky Fowler is super hot, 35-1 in the winner without market. Made a nice run last week on Sunday. I think it's a really interesting time to bet him. And another guy I'm really big on this week is Kurt Kitayama. Has a lot going for him. Grades out number 2, actually ahead of Rory in my traditional model. 4th in driving distance, 8th in long iron play, 11th in birdies. Basically a perfect fit here. With Kitayama, your usual concern is his putting. His tee to green game's never an issue. Gained on tee to green in 9 straight events. It's putting. Now he's gained 3 straight events with the putter where there's very serious consideration. If the putting keeps up, you know the tee to green is going to be there. Kurt Kitayama, 30-1, the winner without. Like him a lot this week as well.
Very good. Yeah. Keep in mind, by the way, the last time the BMW was here on this course, a couple of years ago, Cantlay defeated Bryson DeChambeau in a playoff, minus 27 or 27 under.
Yep.
So you would expect it to be really low scoring again this year, yeah?
That's exactly right. And guys, it's weird. It's a 7,600 yard par 70. So this is like a long course. But if you miss the fairway, the rough's not a huge penalty. So this is just long drives, long irons. This is just long and straight. And as long as you're hitting it long and straight, and all these guys I mentioned, maybe Fowler's not the longest guy in the world, but these other guys are huge bombers that are going to get it out there. You know, Cantlay's not a huge bomber. He just makes a lot of putts. Of course, he used to make a lot of putts, but that's why he was in that competing with Bryson there. Ricky's making birdies, and that's just it. If you can make birdies, guys can make birdies this week. I don't know if we're going to see 27-1, but I'm sure we'll see 21, 22, 23, 24.
Yeah, you can follow Jeff on X. He is at Cupmaker Jeff, and the Cupmaker podcast comes out. That's going to be tomorrow morning. Jeff, thanks for the time. Go get him this week.
Thanks, fellas. Take care.
There you go. He was on the Progressive Guest Line. That was like superb putting in that playoff a couple of years back.
Yeah. Yes. He also wanted to throw in St. Louis Blues. Retro.
The retro?
Best jerseys. We got some Seattle Seahawks as well. Original St. Louis Blues. I think that's a better way to say it. Seattle Seahawks, very good. That's another good one.
Are you talking about those right there?
Yeah.
Or is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what he said. I mean, I think that's what he means. But I also I'm from the state. I was not a fan of the Minnesota North Stars jerseys.
You didn't like those?
When they updated them, yeah. Like the later years with Madonna, and then that carried over when they moved to Dallas. But those retro with the green with the North, no.
I would actually make the case that too many of the hockey jerseys are
outrageous.
They're so busy, man. I can't.
You go back to those mid '80s with the Islanders and the Capitals; those were great jerseys. I think with the fish sticks and the crap.
And then they got way over the top with them.
Those home jerseys by the Islanders are great. The red Washington Capitals back in the day.
Yeah, I think you're talking pretty much all of them are going to be more old school, right?
Yeah.
Because I think it was probably like in the 90s when they really got flashy and out of control. And it was like, it was like more of an attention grab. Like 100 colors on these jerseys, for people who may not have been NHL fans or hockey fans or whatever to say, I kind of like that jersey. Who was that? I have no idea, but let me get that.
Yeah. Fun discussion. Good stuff. I like that stuff. But I just don't know why you would change it though, and just try, and then you would tinker with it and look like garbage.
Do you like the Green Bay Packers jerseys?
Yeah, those are good.
Those are pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like those.
Mm-hmm. But there's just been some awful ones over the years of how they changed the hockey and some of the other.
I don't know why the Patriots ever changed.
Yeah,
those jerseys are elite.
Sure. The Parcells years, those were ugly.
Yeah. Oh well.
Curtis Martin, Bledsoe.
Yeah,
yes.
no good.
Yes.
Get him off the TV.
Yeah.
We'll hit props for tonight's card, and these awards are moving every single day in Major League Baseball.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We continue here with Mike Buckmiller, won the Circa Survivor contest, one of the winners back in 2022. He is now with Survivor Sweat. We can dive into that a little bit more here coming up. Here is the piece of advice maybe you want to approach the season with this year if you're in it with other partners or with other groups. A guy that I do a couple of entries with every single year heard us kick this around yesterday. He goes, I love that idea. He doesn't want to talk about it until Friday because he doesn't want to have a heart attack over this thing like in weeks 3, 4, 5, 6, the entire time during the football season. Like he wants to enjoy it as well. What do you think about that?
Wait, isn't this supposed to be a fun contest?
It is, but then it's cardiac arrest time.
I don't know. My partner and I, we usually touch base on Wednesday. We shoot our pod on Wednesday, and we start talking through the process. We look at the numbers. We look at the equities where we think people are land, and we have a conversation on Wednesday, obviously. Thursday, Friday, we start getting to. We have 2 or 3 teams we feel like we're going to land on, and then we sleep on it. We wake up Saturday morning, and we just review it all. And the more we talk, the clearer it seems to get for us. It works for us. Other people have their ways of going about picking their teams, but we dot our I's, cross our T's, make sure we are comfortable where we're going to land, and we just go with it. You have to have that conviction, and to your point, you have to have a team that you want to sleep at night on. But at the end of the day, you have to take teams. You can't take the Chiefs every week.
Right.
And as we talked about, you said you busted out with the Giants last year.
Right.
My son comes walking down the stairs. I'm sweating the game. It's the across the pond.
Right.
And he goes, the Giants? Really? And I'm like, buddy, at some point, you have to land on some of these fringe teams.
Oh, you're going to take a team multiple times throughout the year that it will make you want to throw up in your mouth.
Yeah, of course.
You have to.
Yeah, of course. And if they win and you get through, you're a genius. If you don't, well,
It's always next year.
there's always the marketplace.
Yeah, that's even better. Yeah.
So before the game, if Mitch reaches out to you, what's the process? How fast is it where it's like you negotiate, I want to sell a piece, it's worth $130,000. I still want control of the pick, but all this stuff is negotiable and up there on the list.
Yeah, I've quickly redirected people to James over at Survivor Sweat. I've seen it done in less than 15 minutes.
Yeah.
That quick.
Beautiful.
They got the paperwork. For Grandissimo, people are jumping on us right now. We have about 20% left, last I heard. I signed DocuSigns all day long of people jumping on board and wanting a piece. What did you think was going to happen when you did that? You bought 2 Grandissimo. Yeah.
So what did you think? Did you anticipate this response?
Well, we reached out to a few of our partners, and they were all in. And then we reached out to some listeners, some people that we've become associate friends with, and they're all in. I mean, it was just going like hotcakes. We were going to do one, and we quickly learned we had to do 2.
Really?
And to maximize our opportunity to win this, I think you got to have 2.
So are you still selling pieces right now? If anybody listening right now wants a piece of your Grandissimo entry or entries.
As of yesterday, there was 20% left, but it's going fast. I signed some DocuSigns this morning as well.
Wow.
And they could find that easily by going to SurvivorSweat.com.
Go to SurvivorSweat.com, go to the marketplace, a quick click. There's phone numbers, emails. They'll reach out immediately, and you can jump aboard.
Well, here's the thing, too. Clearly, you guys know what you're doing. Previous winners, and again, last year you had 3 tickets leading into that Week 10 game when it was down to like 100+ people. That was it. So you guys are making deep runs here.
Yes. 2021, we made it, I want to say 175. We were sub 200. Obviously, we had the run in 2022 where the stars aligned. Last year, we made another deep run. Skill and luck. I think there's strategy in this contest for sure. I've heard people say that it's strictly luck. I disagree with that.
What was your number originally in Grandissimo when Derek announced it and shocked a lot of people with the $100,000 buy-in? What were you thinking that this could get to now that we're at 16 and he's already surpassed?
Yeah, we were anticipating a 25K entry, the 100K entry kind of, whoa. But it was a lot of positive feedback. You can follow Twitter and find A lot of people, just the hits that were going on. I put the original line at 28.5. Looking now at 16, I think we hit 30.
Yeah.
Maybe more. There are some people who think we might get 40, 50. I'm not so sure about that. But, there are some groups putting together the finances to do it.
There's also this. We brought this up yesterday. One of the episodes, I think it was episode 5, again, the quest for 14.2 million. Episode 6 starts tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific, right here on VSiN. It's going to be on YouTube TV. Again, vsin.com/survivor. Scotty Tribuco has been on this show many times, but he sold the largest ticket, I think, in Survivor Sweat history last year. But he kind of had to, right? Because he only had Chicago left in that Thanksgiving weekend. And we had the guest on yesterday who had a couple on Seattle, and they're like, he's got the Bears up for sale. We should probably take that as some insurance, and they did.
Smart play. I'd rather do that than, come out of pocket to hedge, and to be clear, he still had a piece of that entry moving forward because the max you could sell is 99% of it. So he got the intrinsic value of that, and he was able to still have a small piece moving forward just in case it hit the finish line.
Mm-hmm. I can't believe what happened last year with week 3, people were selling.
Left and right.
Yes.
Because the NFL is a week-to-week league. It was turning over. I mean, nobody knew what was going to happen. You had the Bengals go down, the Ravens go down. It's the NFL. It's every week this thing can turn over.
Yeah.
Injuries, what have you. Obviously, Christmas, Thanksgiving, those weeks. Mm-hmm. If you have a chance to monetize, pull out, and continue to move forward, why not?
Yeah.
There was a guy who came down from Canada. He got all 10. And he wanted just to make some money on the contest. And he was there, I think, after week 3. He goes, there you go. You can have them all. I made money. I did my job. I hit my goal. And that's that.
And they were going for $30,000.
It's massive amounts of money.
Yeah.
So you can kind of have, I wonder if that's going to happen even more this year now, especially like if 2025 is a carbon copy of the early 2024 season. I think more people are going to say, get me out of this. Take this off my hands right now.
Yeah, and think about the Grandissimo, because it could get chopped really quick. It could be down to 10. It could be down to 15, 12, 8. The FOMO of people wanting back in is real.
Oh, absolutely. It is.
You bust out in week 1, week 2.
Yes.
You want back in.
You don't want to wait another year.
No, of course not. You want in now. And so, I mean, it's just an incredible way to continue to play this contest. And again, you don't have to buy the whole thing. You can buy pieces, you can buy shares, you could sell pieces and sell shares. And just to have that ride with somebody, you make friends for life. We jumped on board after we busted out last year with 2 people and helped get them to the finish line. Unfortunately, they had the Falcons. As I'd said off air, I actually wanted the Cardinals. I thought I wanted to be isolated, but walking up to the window with that hedge number was not the right thing to do.
Another part
the
of the
right
whole
thing
thing
to do was to take the Falcons that were 8.5 point favorites.
Yeah.
I want to say that they got plus 360 on the hedge line as opposed to even money with, I think it was plus 110 or minus 110 with the Cardinals against the Niners. So, at some point, you do have to lock up that value. And, everybody's finances is different.
Sure. Yeah.
But, even though the Falcons lost, they won.
Revisit a question from earlier. The perfect storm to get this over 25,000. Is it a woman winning? Is it a big-time celebrity? With the help of the documentary here, a Dana White, somebody like that?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah. The documentary is definitely helping, for
yes.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
And to have a cast of characters, somebody easy on the eyes. Obviously, you said, a female participant, all comers. This is a contest that's all you have to do is pick a winner. We're not talking about, -3, -3.5. It's not the point spread. It's pick a winner each week and survive.
I think a perfect character early on here of this year's show is Irish Mike from San Diego.
Yes.
Lifelong, this will tell you all you need to know. Yeah. Lifelong Chargers fan. He stopped watching the NFL, didn't care after they moved from San Diego to LA, started playing Circa Survivor, and he got his love back for the league.
Without a doubt.
Because of the contest.
Strong.
Without a doubt.
Strong.
Without a doubt. Because week in and week out, not only are you rooting for your team, but you're rooting for teams to clip others. And so, I'm a lifelong Titans fan. Look how that's turned out. So I end up rooting for the Titans each week to beat the top teams. I mean, you're always rooting for the underdog to knock off the chalk teams.
The Quest for $14 million, the 10-part doc following the drama, strategy, and heartbreak. Catch it tonight. Final 5 episodes through the 16th, 9 p.m. Eastern. Watch the first 5 if you fell behind, if you missed one. VSiN.com/survivor, VSiN.com/survivor.
Mike, that was awesome. Thanks for the time today.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you having me on.
Yep, former Circa Survivor winner Mike Buckmiller, Survivor Sweat. We'll get into tonight's Major League Baseball card coming up next.